Hey, and welcome to Alchemy Online. I'm Jody, and today we're going to be continuing on in our chakra journey. So today we find ourselves right at the third eye, at the wisdom center, at the sixth chakra. So this chakra in Sanskrit is called the Ajna chakra, and it translates roughly to mean to perceive or to know. And sometimes it's even called the command center. So we'll work with this chakra today, and kind of like last time when we met and we did the fifth chakra when we were at the throat. As we start to move upwards in the body, these centers in us begin to become a bit more subtle, less tangible, and they're just more. They're more ethereal. They just get a little bit more complex and intelligent as we rise up the spinal column. And so we'll just use exactly everything that this chakra is meant to be today. We'll use our intuition, and we'll use our inner knowing, and that small quiet voice inside of us that might even be described like a sixth sense, or it might even feel like you have a hunch about something. When I'm teaching yoga and I'm trying to describe this center in all of us, I've often referred to it as the way that we know something without knowing how we know it. So it's this it kind of is beyond the physical realm. It's things that we didn't learn in a textbook, or we can't exactly Google search these things. It's just an innate wisdom that we have within ourselves. And so we'll do some practices today that might feel less physical. One thing that I've noticed as I've been planning these classes and putting them together is that when we started at the first chakra, down at the root, things were quite physical and we feel them. And when we were in the hips, we were fluid and moving around. And in the belly, there was fire and purification. And as we start to rise up, what I've noticed as I've been putting these classes together is that things start to get a little quieter. Things start to get a little stiller. So if you're looking for a practice today that's going to be a real burner or really, kind of move you through some energies, this might not be the one. This one will be, like I said, a bit more subtle, and we'll work through some of the quieter parts of us. We'll still do yoga. We'll still do yoga asana. But we'll also try to tap into this part of us that is this quiet wisdom. And so the location of this chakra is right between the brow and just slightly above. And you might just think of that part of you that when we do the alternate nostril breathing, and we leave the two fingers, the index finger and the middle finger free when we're doing the alternate nostril breathing. It's like we're putting the two fingers right in the center of our wisdom there as we're doing that style of breathing. So that's roughly right where it's located in the body. And so we want our chakras to be spinning with their proper size and have nice equilibrium and balance within them. And so when our sixth chakra, when the Ajna chakra is in flow and it's in good balance and in good harmony, we find that we're able to dream and we're able to imagine things, and we almost can find ourselves in a fantasy mind, in a fantasy brain. We have good insight and we have intuition. And not only do we have insight and intuition in dreams, but it's also trusting them. So it's not just, like I said, this physical realm of the things that we can predict and prove. It's more the things that we can't see. It's this understanding that, yes, those things are a sense of our intelligence just as much as our brain and just as much as our thinking mind, our cerebral thoughts. And when this chakra is less in balance and when it's in disharmony or out of flow, we might find on the stronger side that we get really indecisive. We can become really analytical and want to prove things and become really hyper-focused and close-minded in our thoughts. And when it's a little on the weaker side, We can also find that it can be, or more on the blocked side. We can find paranoia, nightmares, even delusional thinking, as well as just not having good sense of boundaries of kind of what's real and what's not real. Okay, so what we're going to need for today's class is a few things. We're going to, I'm sitting on a block just because I like to. So you might just need a block, although not totally necessary. A wall space. I actually have 2 yoga mats today. You don't need 2 mats, excuse me, but I just like to have a second mat for when I go up against the wall. We're going to do some handstand today. And then the third thing that you might need is a candle, if you have access to a candle, a flame, an actual burning flame. And if you don't have that, that's totally fine. Just something that you can stare at. We're going to do some gazing meditation today just to activate this wisdom center in ourselves. So if you do have a candle, grab a flame, a match, or something to light your candle with. As I said, I'm seated on a block. If you want to sit up on something for this meditation, you're most welcome to. Otherwise, you can just sit directly on the floor. And so however you're seated, just take a moment. We'll close down the eyes. And the eyes are the location of the 6th chakra. And we find ourselves at the element of light. And so our eyes take in a lot. They're taking in all sorts of sensory information all day long. As long as we're awake, our eyes are taking in information around us constantly. And so we'll use our eyes in this practice today, both closed and open in different ways to stimulate the third eye. And just for a few moments, we'll shut down the senses of the eyes to go within. And as I mentioned, this is how we get quiet. It's a really easy and simple way to get quiet is to close the eyes and to eliminate any of the visual distractions that are around us. And I know as we're practicing at home, I'm at home today in my home yoga studio, I'm still in quarantine. I know when we're at home, it's easier to get distracted. I know that's true. But I give you the extra challenge today to try to just spin within. If there's a distraction in your home, in your environment, just as much as you're able to do, just try to ignore it as much as you can. And just get quiet with the inner landscape. And can we be as curious with the internal landscape as we are with the external landscape that we're more used to? And just a few more moments here. Just seeing what's up on the inside of ourselves today. Good. Now, maybe as I was just talking there, you've had some time to find a candle and bring it in front of you, about 2 or 3 feet in front of you. Again, if you don't have a candle, no worries. But we are going to gaze. We are going to find a meditation where we gaze straight forward, ideally at a flame. And so what we're going to do is we're going to pick that thing that we're going to gaze straight at, either a flame or some other object. And we're just going to fix our eyes upon it. So you would take a normal seat like you would for a regular meditation, grounded in the sit bones, tall in the spine. And then single pointed focus directly at that flame. So allow your eyes to draw just slightly above the wick. Just a little higher where you see the brightest part, the center part of the flame. And what we'll try to do in this meditation is we'll try to keep our eyes open for as long as we can without blinking. Begin when you're ready. Focus your eyes. And just begin to notice how everything around the flame starts to get blurry. And we become focused just on this flame, just on the brightness of that wick and that flame. Your breath stays normal and regular. The spine stays tall. Now this will be different for all of us, but eventually there will be a point where the eyes start to burn. And if you have some practice with this, if you have some time in with this style of meditation, you may even notice that the eyes tear up and start to form tears in the eyes. Just let that happen until you feel like you absolutely can't keep your eyes open for one more second. You're going to take the heels of the hands and cup them over top of the eyes. Fingers will just go just right at the top of the skull above the eyebrows. And now see if you can find that flame in the inner eye. It might be slightly to the right, it might be slightly to the left. See if you can draw it right between the center of the brow. It might look just slightly red with a halo around it. Focus directly on that red flame. This inner image. So it goes from the external to the internal. Keep focusing your third eye right on that red flame, the inner eye. It's like we have our two eyes for seeing external things, and we have our inner eye, our third eye, for seeing the more subtle, the internal things. Keep focusing on that red flame. Keep your inner eye sharp. Just a few more moments here. Keep your breath steady and smooth. Keep focusing, few more moments. Good. Remove your hands from your eyes and slowly blink your eyes back into the room. Might feel a little extra bright for those first few blinks back. And so that meditation is something that you can do anytime where you feel like you are overstimulated, where you've been in an environment that's just your senses are overloaded, and you want to just come right back into the center of you and into that quiet wisdom of yourself. All right, we're going to begin with the asana part of the class. We're going to begin at the top part of the mat in Tadasana, mountain pose. And so I'm going to turn to face you, but you can begin at the top part of your mat. Do any sort of movement that you would do, sort of like if you're beginning in a downward facing dog, and you know how you take those organic movements just to get into the pose and into the sensation of the pose. Do that in Tadasana as well. So you take your own organic choreographed movements here. You can rock the body weight from front to back, spreading the toes wide as you're up on the heels. And we don't get too rigid in Tadasana. I find sometimes we can get a little bit too type A in Tadasana. We want to be accurate in our postures, but not with any gripping or any rigidity. So find just a sweetness in this pose. Ground down through the big toe mound, the pinky side of the foot, as well as the center dot of the heel. And then let that currency from the earth rise and charge up through the legs, so much so that you lift the kneecaps and feel the quadriceps just begin to lift, and feel that strength in the legs, the undercarriage of the body. And then move up a little higher into the sweetness of the hips. Feel the fluidity and the flexibility there, the water there. And rise up the whole spinal column, right from the tailbone, right up to the crown. Might even make you stand up just 1 inch taller. Draw your shoulder blades towards the spine and the hands slightly flare forwards, like you have a string on the top of your head, as well as that currency of the earth pulling you downward right into the center of the earth, and the heart floating right in between these two spaces of above and below. Good. And then here we're going to close down the eyes and feel all of those locations of the body. Can you return to that red flame right between the center of the brow? Draw your attention there, draw your focus there. Trying not to strain, Trying not to over effort, but just noticing the subtle body, becoming more aware of the quieter parts of you. Good. Keep your awareness in the center of the brow. And then go ahead and flutter open up the eyes. Now for today's practice, we're going to be closing down our eyes and moving through some pretty familiar patterns or sequences of yoga. So I'm going to step to the top part of the mat, and we're going to move through Surya Namaskar A, and we're going to do it the first time with our eyes open, familiar, and then we're going to do round 2 with our eyes closed, just to see where we are in space and to see how much we can trust that inner wisdom and that inner guidance. So you're at the top edge of your mat, ground down into your feet. We'll begin the Ujjayi breath here now. On the inhale breath, breathe in through your nose. And on the exhale breath, bend your knees, bow in towards yourself. All the air comes out the nose. Inhale, halfway lift, eyes gaze forward to the tip of the nose. As you exhale, plant your hands, step your feet back to the top of a plank pose. We'll fortify this plank and we'll remind ourselves of all of the elements of Tadasana pose that we just came from. Strong legs, soft hips, water in the hips, fire in the belly. Could you slightly lift the belly button up and towards the spine? Keep the element of air in the upper back. Charge your arms. Neck is nice and long, crown of the head, that string is pulling forward. Stay for one more breath. And then find your way to the knees. Lower down all the way, belly touches the floor. Inhale will come through a cobra. And then exhale, roll over the toes, hips to the sky. First downward facing dog. We'll pause here just for a few cycles of breath. Just like we did in Tadasana pose, find your own organic movement in a downward facing dog. Pedal the heels. Keep the charge in the arms. Press deeply into the hands. Good. Let's take ourselves back to the top edge of the mat. Step forward. Halfway lift to lengthen the spine. Slightly pull the belly up and back. Bow in, forward fold. Drop your head. Tuck your chin. And then press into your feet. Strong legs. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, hands reset to the center of the chest. All right, let's trust what we know. Okay, let's do that one full round, eyes closed. Wherever we land, okay? If we're off the mat, it's all good. It's all just learning, right? Inhale, reach up. Eyes are closed. Exhale, bow forward. Keep your eyes closed, but gaze to the center of the brow, just like we did. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down, feet back, top of the plank pose. We'll just stay here for one inhale. Drop to the knees. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, back bend of your choice. We did cobra last time. If you want to do upward facing dog, go for it. Exhale, downward facing dog, hips to the sky. Stay for one breath in. And one steady breath out. Good. Keep your eyes closed. Step, hop, feet to hands. Keep your eyes closed. Halfway lift and lengthen your spine. Pull the crown of the head forward. Exhale, bow in. Soften through your knees. Drop the crown. Inhale, press through the feet. Reach up, sweep up. Exhale, hands to the center of the chest. One breath with the eyes closed. Inhale. And exhale. Flutter open your eyes. Just take a peek where you are in space. How'd you do? Pretty good? Nice job. All right, now we'll do Surya Namaskar B. One round with the eyes open, one round with the eyes closed. Top edge of the mat. Sink the hips low like there's a chair behind you. Inhale, Utkatasana, arms up towards the sky. One big breath in. Exhale, bow in, forward fold. Inhale, remember the eyes are open, so look forward. Gaze to the tip of the nose. Exhale, step back, top of the plank pose. If you're ready for Chaturanga pose, go for it. Otherwise, drop the knees like we've been doing. Inhale, you choose the back bend. You might do locust, upward facing dog, or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot to right thumb tip. Seal the back heel down and in. Inhale, reach up. Take your thumbs to cross. Keep bending into your front knee. Gaze to the palms. One breath in. Exhale, release the hands, frame your foot, step back, top of the plank. Lower down, chaturanga pose. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left foot steps to left thumb. Seal your back heel down, front knee is bent. This is warrior one, Virabhadrasana 1. Opposite thumb in front, cross the palms, look up, 1 breath in. Exhale, release the hands down, step back, top of the plank. Take your time, don't make it a scramble, lower halfway down. Inhale, lift for a back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog, 1 breath in, 1 breath out. Stay empty in the lungs, hop your feet to where your hands are. Sink the hips low, sweep the hands up, chair pose. Exhale, stand Tadasana, hands to the heart. Pause here. Take a breath in. And stay for the breath out. All right, let's do all of that a little bit more smoothly, but with the eyes closed. All right? Whatever happens, happens. Let's just trust. Inhale, sweep the arms up, sink the hips low, chair pose, eyes are closed, 1 breath in. Exhale, bow forward. Keep the eyes closed, inhale, halfway lift. Trust you know just where to go, step back, top of the plank pose. Lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, back bend that pleases your spine, you choose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right foot, right thumb tip. Back heel seals down. Front knee is bent. Inhale, remember where you've been. Cross your thumbs, reach up. Imagine that you're looking up, but you're looking to the third eye. Good. Take the hands down, frame your foot, step back, top of the plank. My eyes are still closed. I hope yours are too. Chaturanga. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left foot, left thumb. Vira 1, seal your back heel down, front knees bent, opposite thumb crosses, reach up like you're holding a sword. Imagine that you're gazing up to the third eye. Good, release the hands, frame your foot, step back. Top of the plank pose, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. 1 breath in. And 1 breath out. Look to the third eye. The eyes are still closed. Playfully hop forward. Sink the hips. Sweep up. Chair pose. Exhale. Hands to the heart. Tadasana. Open up the eyes. Take a peek where you are. Oh, not too bad. Just a little bit to the left. All right. So from here, we're going to play with eagle pose, Garudasana pose. And we're going to play with some balance as well as focusing the eyes while we're in a balancing pose. So you can stay at the top part of your mat. I'm going to step to the middle part of the mat. Take your hips, your feet hip distance apart. Go ahead and sink the hips down low. Sweep the arms up. Take your right arm, cross it underneath the left. Fingertips touch the palm, and then take the arm bones up. Sink the hips a little lower. Now pour all the weight into the right foot. Pick up the left leg, wrap it up and around. Toes can hook behind your standing leg. Squeeze your knees together. Squeeze the arm bones together. Pull your arm bones away from your face. Sit down a little bit lower. Back of the neck is long. Jalandhara Bandha, the throat lock. Tuck your chin in. Now focus your eyes. Imagine that you're looking to that red flame, the third eye, the center of the brow. Sit down a little lower. 2 more breaths here. Keep the constriction. Keep the focus of your eyes. Laser focus, just like an eagle. Okay, listen up. You're going to untangle this left leg. You're going to shoot it back behind you. And then keep the eagle arms. Reach them forward as you kick your heel back. Left toes flex in towards your shins. Your shin. Keep pulling your arms forward. And now it's like an eagle looking for a fish in water. So laser focus your eyes. You find your prey. You're looking for that fish down below. Stay for 3. Keep pushing down through your right big toe for 2. Keep pulling your heel back, fingers forward for 3. or for 1. Good, and then come back, lift your left knee, left foot, and then step down. Inhale, lift your wings, reach up. Exhale, bow in, forward fold. Just a halfway lift to breathe in. Exhale, bow forward in towards yourself. Inhale, reach up, stretch up. And then pause here. I always like to take a break, a little like a standing shavasana between sides here. Just take a moment. Eyes can be open or closed. If they're open, just softly gaze forward. Return to that stillness. Return to that inner knowing. And maybe as we practice today and we're talking about wisdom and intuition and that small quiet voice, you might recall a time when you did act on that, when you trusted it. When was there a time for you that you just had a hunch about something? Maybe it was about a person or a relationship. You just knew it was right. Take yourself back to that. Let's do the second side. Inhale, sweep up. Opposite cross of your arms. Left arm on top. And then sink the hips low. Pour the weight into the left leg. You're going to start to lift up the right side. Again, do whatever you did on the other side. If you hook the toes, go ahead, hook the toes. Otherwise, this toe could tap to the floor. Or you could stay in the chair pose legs. Okay, so find your legs. Whatever you do, commit to that. Okay, get laser focused with your eyes. Committed in the gaze. Staring forward at one thing that's not moving. That's called pratyahara in yoga, where we have this focus of our attention, withdrawing of the senses. And we're just noticing one thing. There's so much for us to notice all the time. We just keep our eyes fixed in one spot, then we get quiet, we get still, and then we can start to hear that inner voice. Stay here for one more breath, sit down a little lower, and then slowly start to untangle this right leg. Keep the arms. Guide the arms forward as you cast your leg back. Right toes flex in towards your shins. Slightly lift the inseam of your right leg, your flying leg. And then keep pulling the arms forward. Tuck your chin in slightly and then begin to look for that fish down below. Start to really zero in on just one thing, like you're going to swoop down and pick that fish up. Stay for 3, for 2, and 1. Draw this knee back in, like you're stepping on a box just for a moment. Then step down, release the wings, reach up. Take the wingspan wide, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. Bow in, forward fold. And then we'll pick it up, sweep up. Good, hands to the center of the chest. All right, so as promised, we're going to do some handstand. We're going to focus our eyes on handstand. Now, if handstand is not in your practice and it doesn't feel comfortable for you to go there today, all good. What you can do is a wide-legged forward fold, okay? And you might even take a block in your wide-legged forward fold and place it just underneath the brow, the head, if you have the space in the back body, something like this. Your hands can be free or maybe interlaced behind you. Okay, so that's, if handstand is not for you, then that could be an option, a modification. If you'd like to do a handstand, we'll do a couple rounds here of handstand. We'll hold it for about 15 to 20 seconds. And so I'm going to use a wall space and kick up here just so that I can teach and talk at the same time and not fall over in my handstand. So either way, you're going to either take wide-legged forward fold, or your hands about one handprint away from the wall. And then you're going to find your kicking leg and kick up against the wall. So once you're up in your handstand, you can flex your feet so that your heels are trying to scrub a little bit higher up the wall. Keep pressing into the foundation of your hands, like your hands are your feet. And now draw your tailbone up towards the sky. Charge your legs like you're standing on the earth. And then focus your eyes. Focus your eyes just like you did in eagle pose. Keep them fixed and steady. We'll stay here for about 10 more seconds. Keep charging the arms. Keep activating your legs. Keep trying to scrub your heels up like you're growing 1 inch taller. We'll stay for 5, for 4. Keep breathing for 3, for 2, and for 1. Slowly come down. And we'll take a child's pose. So if you're in wide-legged forward fold, you can go ahead, join us in a child's pose. Let's take the arms forward, knees wide, and then ground the third eye on the floor. If your forehead doesn't touch the floor, you can reach for a block or a pillow. Some way we find the connection of our wisdom center to the earth. And gently rock your head from side to side. Give it a massage. Just wake up that part of ourselves. Wake up that dream center. What are you dreaming of? What are you creating and imagining, fantasizing about? Let's take 2 more breaths here. Keep the connection, third eye, the Ajna chakra to the earth. Good. All right. We'll do 1 more like that, okay? So either wide-legged forward fold again, or if you don't want to do a second handstand, choose the wide-legged forward fold this time, or join me up against the wall here. So you can begin in a downward facing dog. Stack the joints over top, hips over shoulders, and then kick up. Keep pressing up, lifting up. Now this time, instead of looking forward between the hands, if you want to, you can drop your head and find a gazing point that's back and forward. A little bit more tricky this way. So I'm going to gaze at the candle that I was gazing at before. See if I can do all of this while teaching at the same time. Keep the tailbone nice and long, like it's reaching up towards the sky. Keep action in your legs. Don't lose the earth in the legs. Sometimes in a headstand or a handstand, we can lose the pose by losing the legs. Keep the earth there. Keep charging your arms. Keep pressing into the index mound of your hands. We'll stay for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. Slowly come down. This time we'll take child's pose, but rather than taking the arms into extension, let's take them to wrap back behind us. Again, third eye touches the floor. Massage it side to side, left and right. Close down the eyes. See if you can see that inner image, that inner flame. It's almost like when we close the eyes, the darkness is like silence for the ears. It just relaxes us and brings us back into that sweet knowing, into that small quiet voice. Good. Let's slowly come on back up. And we'll meet in a downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, we'll take 1 Surya Namaskar, 1 sun salutation. Look to the top edge of the mat. Hopper step there. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Big breath in, come up and rise. Exhale, hands to the heart. Sweep up all the way through your aura. Reach up, look up. Arms wide, forward fold, soft knees, heavy head. Halfway lift and lengthen, pull your heart forward, suck your belly up. And then press your hands down, feet back, top of the plank pose, chaturanga. Inhale, lift the heart. Upward facing dog, you guys know your options, cobra or locust. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, pick up your right leg, turn open your hip by bending your knee. And then look forward, send your right knee to your right thumb tip. Half pigeon pose. Crawl your left leg back. And then just for a moment, come up onto fingertips so you can pull your right hip up and back, left hip slightly forward. Take a big full breath in. And then exhale, we'll come into sleeping pigeon. And bring a block along with you guys. If you don't have a block, then you could take double fists here. But same thing as in child's pose. We're going to try to ground the third eye here. So make contact with something. It doesn't really matter what it is. And then go ahead and close down the eyes. And find a sweet, steady breath. And then bring your attention back to a time when you were able to trust your intuition. And walk yourself back through that scenario or that story or that place in time for you, where you were faced with something that you didn't know how you knew it, but you just did. And you acted on that. What was the outcome? What was the process for trusting that? Did you act quickly? Did you second guess it? Did you tell anybody about it? And I think sometimes when we can remember past successes, then we have a higher likelihood of doing that again in the future. And so I want you to remember a time when you acted on intuition and there was a good end result. There was a happy outcome. Because we all have this ability. We all have this sixth sense. We're born with it. But I think culturally we're not really trained to trust it. And I really think we ought to. Just another breath in here, okay? And then we'll come up. Good. Come on up. And we're going to sit onto the outer edge of the right hip. And right sole of the foot is going to press into the inner left thigh. Janu Sirsasana pose. I like to take the arms up over top of the head just to find new length in the spine. And then pivot, turn towards your extended left leg. And bring a block along or some sort of prop with you, a blanket, anything you have. And you're going to drop your hands on either side of your left leg. And then just take the prop here again, just like we did in pigeon, just like we did in child's pose. I'm going to find this inner quiet. Just a few breaths here. Not over-efforting, not over-stretching, just finding this middle way where we can get still and get quiet. And so as I said before, the poses in today's class they're not fiery, they're not necessarily earthy. They're just more to cultivate this sense of wisdom. And to remind ourselves that this is an important part of us to try to activate and cultivate. Let's take one more breath in. And one more breath out. Rise on your next inhale breath. If you'd like to take a vinyasa to get back to downward facing dog, you're welcome to. Otherwise, we'll just meet up in a downward facing dog. Let's take the left leg to lift. We'll hinge the knee, turn open the hip, just prep and prime it for half pigeon on the left side. Swing your knee forward to your thumb, crawl your foot back. And just find the hips here, left hip up and back, right hip point slightly forward as you walk down onto your arms. Again, if you want to take the stacked double fists or if you have a block, I like to put the block at a bit of an angle. And keep that pressure right in the middle of the brow. Every one of our chakras has a gland in the endocrine system that it's responsible for. And the sixth chakra here, the Ajna chakra, is the pituitary gland, which is sometimes called the master gland. It's responsible for all the other glands in the body and the secretions of their hormones. And this helps to govern our metabolism. And helps to regulate all of the other glands in the endocrine system here. It's like the master or the mother of all the glands. We'll just take 2 more quiet breaths here. Just listening to that inner quiet. The bottom of your next exhale breath will come on up. And then right leg out, left leg. Left foot comes to the inseam of the right leg. Inhale, arms up. Turn to face your leg and then fall over your knee, your leg. Reach for your prop if it migrated away from you, and then let your forehead rest. Just take a moment here. Good. Let's take a breath in together and out. And let's rise up. And then we'll meet on the back. So once you're on the back, we're going to take a twist here. Legs together to the right side, together to the left side. A few more times like that. Just let your knees free fall left and right. And then next time your knees fall together to the right side, let's keep them there. And bump your hip over to the right. And arms can come out to the side. Your right foot can act like a hook on top of your left knee. Just find some more space in the top of your outer left hip there. Now as we're here in this spinal twist, as we come to the end of our practice today, I want you just to close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, I want you to move your eyeballs to the top, like you're looking at 12 o'clock on the face of a clock. And then move your eyeballs over to 3 o'clock. Move them down to 6, look down. Over to 9 to the left. And back up to 12, the top. Good. Let's switch the side of the twist. Bring your knees up to center, drop them over to the left side. Left foot hooks on top of the right knee. Close down your eyes again. Now this time we'll go counterclockwise. We'll look first up to 12 again to start. And look over to 9. And down to 6. Over to the right all the way to 3. And back up to 12. And now just let your eyes move around the full rotation of their sockets, like you're looking really quickly at all the numbers at once. Just choose a direction and then go the other way. So our eyeballs are strained a lot. And I think sometimes in yoga we can forget muscles like the eyes or the tongue. And we think more about the big muscles like our quadriceps or our abdomen, abdominal muscles, but our eyes actually are one of the hardest working muscles in the entire body. So just go ahead and let them relax here, let go of the twist. And from here, we'll settle into Shavasana. If you're working with any essential oils in these chakra practices with me, some nice ones for the third eye are, I have rose geranium today. If you have mint can be a nice one to activate the third eye. If you have jasmine. So if you want to use any oils, you can just rub them into your palms and deeply inhale. Otherwise, find yourself in your Shavasana. You might prop the underside of your knees, the backs of the thighs. Feet come to the outer edges of the mat. Stack your shoulder blades in towards the spine so that the front of the chest is open and free. The fingers of your hands slightly curl in towards the palms. And fully and completely relax your eyes. Close the drapes of the eyelids. Remove any of the visual distractions around you. And if you have the luxury of time, then go ahead and pause me and stay for as long as you can. I encourage you to do that. But if you're here with me, we'll just stay for about a minute and a half in complete silence. I'll bring you back in just a moment. If you're ready to take movement, go ahead and roll to one side. And just for a moment, just hover there. And then we'll press up to a seat. Ground down in the sitting bones. Take your hands to the center of the chest. Slightly bow your head. And so as we've moved through this sixth chakra today, we are reminded that we have everything that we need inside of us. That we know, we do. We have the ability to trust that. And this is the ultimate teaching of yoga, is that we have everything we need already inside of us. So I hope you were reminded of that today. I know I was. Let's take the thumb knuckles up to the third eye. This is our regular practice. We do this almost every single time we do yoga. Most yoga teachers will cue this, will guide us to this. And we press the thumb knuckles into that center, into that wisdom center. And so I hope that this practice today was able to deepen your insights and your intuition, and that you can continue to trust your innate wisdom. Thanks for practicing with me today, you guys. Namaste.